Tashi Delay, and welcome back to yet another episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV. I'm continuing the special series on Kodun, Year of Compassion Celebration. We have Karma Singey, representative of the Tibet Information Office, or the Office of Tibet, Canberra, joining us online from his office. In this episode, Karma Singey will shed light on the various events and celebrations organized to honor and reflect upon the profound legacy of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, as His Holiness turned 90 this year, a legacy deeply rooted in compassion, non-violence, and universal responsibility. Welcome to the program, Kungo. Kungo, first of all, who all are in the Australia's Kodun Organizing Committee, and also is the team putting special emphasis on any part of His Holiness's legacy?
So Australia's main committee comprised of 5 members, the representative of Tibet Information Office, then the president and the general secretary of Australian Tibetan National Association. Then we have a board member from Australia Tibet Council, and then the national coordinator of Australia VTech. So under this committee, we also have a local Kodun committee for all the regional Tibetan communities, where the president and all the executive members of the respective committee, they are also the members of the local Kodun committee. So this year is a very special milestone, not only for Tibetans, but also all peoples who cherish peace, compassion, and justice. So this is a very great opportunity to reflect on His Holiness Dalai Lama's legacy, his message of compassion, peace. So here we, in Australia, we have focused the celebration on 3 main things. First is to amplify His Holiness' message of compassion, peace, and particularly his 4 principal commitments. Then also to highlight the significance of the 90th birthday of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and then to raise concern of Chinese government's interference in the reincarnation issue. And then also we organize various religious activities and prayer services on some of the important Buddhist events for the long life and good health of His Holiness Dalai Lama.
Right, Kungo. So since we are all celebrating the Year of Compassion this year, so many organizations and offices are hosting panel discussions on His Holiness's latest book, Voice for the Voiceless. A week ago, your office also hosted one, but of the book's translation in Chinese, and also with Chinese scholars and professors, amongst others on the panel. Kungo, could you share with us how did that go, and also how does that help in strengthening Tibet advocacy on a larger scale?
So last week we organized a panel discussion on the book Voice for the Voiceless by His Holiness the Dalai Lama at Deakin University in Melbourne, with Chinese scholars, writers, and activists. So that panel discussion went very well. Many of the panelists they are of the view that His Holiness Dalai Lama's middle way approach is a very pragmatic policy for resolving the issue of Tibet. And they said that His Holiness middle way policy is supreme expression of wisdom to safeguard the Tibetan culture and people. And then many are of the view that the method, non-violence method, His Holiness used for resolving Tibet issue is also inspiration for many of the Chinese who fight for democracy and constitutional reforms in China. So this event has really strengthened the relationship between the Tibetan communities and Chinese communities. It also helped to understand better the Tibetan issue and His Holiness' legacy.
Right. So, Kungo, beyond the recent panel discussion you just spoke on, can you share some highlights of the past Year of Compassion-related events that have had significant impact?
Yes, so we have initiated a series of events in this past 3-4 months. So I would like to share you some of the major events that we have undertaken. So one was we held a great celebration at the New South Wales Parliament, and that event was co-hosted by MP Michael Regan, who is a long-time friend and supporter of Tibet, in collaboration with the Sydney Tibetan community. So that celebration brought together over 100 Tibet supporters and friends of Tibet. And at that time, Kong Sejong was also on the official tour to Australia, and Kong Sejong was the chief guest at that time. And we had a rare opportunity to hear from Kong Sejong on the significance of the 90th birthday and year of compassion. Then another thing is in Canberra, which is the national capital of Australia, the Tibet Information Office and the Australia-Tibet Council, we organize a dinner reception to all the Parliamentary Friendship Group of Tibet. So on that event, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Sharon Creighton, she was the chief guest. Then also we have co-chairs of the Parliamentary Friendship Group, and then many prominent MPs and also diplomats from the different embassies, then people from think tank, community leaders, and then among them, many of MPs, they have previously visited Dharamsala, so they shared their experiences and spoke for the importance of supporting the just cause of Tibet. Then another important major event was at the Victoria State, the Victorian Parliamentary Friendship Group there and the Victorian Tibetan community. They have hosted a 90th birthday celebration at the Victorian Parliament, where the Speaker of both the houses, the House of Legislative and the House of Council, they also graced the occasion. And then also we have many MPs from the different political parties and Tibet Support Group. They also joined that event. And then another important and very fortunate event was just a few days before, on 8th October, Australia communities, we have offered Tenshu to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So that was really a blessing and a historic moment for Australian Tibetans here to get an opportunity to offer Tenshu to His Holiness during his 90th birthday anniversary.
Right, Kungo. So you spoke of a line of events where you invite think tanks, scholars and professors, and then a lot of members of the parliament. So could you tell us how are their response like in terms of advocacy and their support for Tibet?
Yeah, their response was very good. Especially, we have a very strong Tibet support group here, and also the parliamentary members. Many of they have visited Dharamsala in the past, and also during the Tibet Lobby Day. So many of they spoke in support of Tibet in the parliament. So. The members of the parliaments, they are the voice of Tibet in the Tibetan parliament. Then also Tibet support groups, think tanks. Many of they received the events very well, and they're very supportive to the Tibetan issue.
Right, Kungo. So you spoke of Tibetan youngsters lobbying for Tibet. So shifting the focus slightly to the Tibetan youngsters, could you tell us how well does the young Tibetans in Australia take interest and responsibility of lobbying for Tibet? What does their involvement look like?
Yeah, the youngster in Australia, they are very interested in Tibet issue. They also involved in many activities organized by Tibetan communities, and especially we have around 110 VTech members we have here. And also we have in the Men Kuten Committee, Australia Kuten Committee, one of the member was the national coordinator of VTech. National coordinator of VTech was one of the members. So in this way, they also, many of they got the opportunity to involve in Tibet issues. So during the lobby day, most of the participants are from VTech and youths, And this year, the Lobby Day was focused on the His Holiness reincarnation issue and also the significance of the 90th birthday.
The Chinese Communist Party seems to think that they have the authority to select the next Dalai Lama, despite, for over 7 decades, demonizing and villainizing His Holiness, a Nobel laureate, despite bombing and desecrating thousands of our monasteries and nunneries, despite using our holiest temple, the Tregang Temple in Lhasa, as a pigsty for their army. They still think that they have some sort of moral legitimacy to appoint the next Dalai Lama. And so we're very happy today to be flanked by our representatives from across Australia's political spectrum. But we are here hopefully to meet with the Foreign Minister as well today to ask the Australian government to take a stance in keeping with democratic governments across the world, like the US, like the EU, and publicly stating that the Australian government will only engage with and recognize a Dalai Lama that is appointed in accordance with the wishes of the current Dalai Lama. It is a wholly reasonable ask, and we hope that we'll be successful in that ask today.
And then they have met around 30 MPs this year during Tibet Lobby Day. So many of the MPs, they spoke in support of the Tibet in the parliament, and also they condemned the Chinese government's interference in the reincarnation issue. They said that any Dalai Lama appointed by the Chinese government is not legitimate, and it's unacceptable. So the Australian government also in the recently held 60th United Nations Human Rights Council, they also issued a very strong statement stating that consistent with international law and norms, no government should interfere in the religious selection of the religious leader, including the Dalai Lama.
We remain gravely concerned by ongoing human rights violations against Uyghurs and Tibetans. Consistent with international law and norms, governments should not interfere in the selection of religious leaders, including the Dalai Lama.
Right, Kungo. So my last question to you is there anything that you can share with us on the future line of events relating to the Kodun celebration, and what would be the focus on?
Yeah, so in the we have some upcoming events in the next few months. The first is we are organizing a parliamentary delegation to Dharamsala in December. So that delegation comprises of parliament members from Australia and also from New Zealand. It will be led by one of the co-chair of the Australian Parliamentary Friendship Group. And they will have the opportunity to meet with the CTA leadership, and also they will participate in the 36th anniversary of the Nobel Peace Award ceremony at Dharamsala. And then Australia, we have large number of Buddhist associations community here in Australia. So we are planning to organize, a symposium on the Buddhist, on the theme, on the Buddhist path of compassion for world peace. So that will, the participants will be from the Buddhist community across the Australia. Then in this February next year, we here in Australia, in the Canberra, we will have a very big annual event, that is Australian National Multicultural Festival. So in that festival, we are planning to have photo exhibition, book display, and also we will participate in the culture parade of that festival as a part of the commemoration of Year of Compassion. And then another thing is we are planning to bring a book on the visit of His Holiness Dalai Lama to Australia and New Zealand in the coming months, because His Holiness visited Australia 10 times and 7 times in New Zealand.
Okay, so Kungo, thank you so much for speaking to Tibet TV.
Thank you.
That is all for this episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV. I will see you in the next one.